Well, President Trump has canceled Secretary of State Mike Pompeo's planned visit to North Korea, citing insufficient progress on denuclearization. The president also tweeted, quote, "Because of our much tougher trading stance with China, I do not believe they are helping with the process of denuclearization as they once were." We bring in James Carafano. He's the Vice President of National Security and Foreign Policy at the Heritage Foundation. James, good morning.
Hey, good to be with you.
Why do you think the president abruptly canceled Pompeo's trip?
I think it was an instant replay of the Singapore letter. If you remember, before the Singapore conference, the president wasn't getting the guarantees that he wanted from the North Koreans, so he abruptly canceled the conference. It was a strong signal to them that he wasn't pleased with the way the negotiations were going. I think this is exactly the same.
What has North Korea done to show that it is stopping its denuclearization?
Well, the good news is they have not conducted any additional nuclear tests or missile tests. And they haven't done any other highly provocative activity. That's on the good side. What on the other side of the ledger, and this is really key, is you can't really denuclearize unless you start with a complete and verifiable list of everything you have. And the North Koreans have to deliver that up front, and they don't want to do that.
What do you make of critics who say the president is flip-flopping on many issues and the North Korea issue? And I bring up the China aspect of this. He had tweeted on Friday that China was not helping on the issue with the denuclearization of North Korea. But then one day later, he told Fox and Friends this. Take a listen.
The reason I even waited was because of North Korea, because I wanted China's help on North Korea. Otherwise, I would have done it sooner. And China's been a big help on North Korea. I hope they continue to be.
What do you make of that?
So I always put everything that the president says and tweets in the context of the overall policy. And if you look at the overall U.S. policy, it's actually been very, very consistent. The demand hasn't changed. It is complete denuclearization, and the game hasn't changed, which is the administration has said, look, we have maximum pressure on nuclear deterrence, missile deterrence, conventional deterrence, and heavy sanctioning, and that pressure remains the same until the United States is assured that they are on a clear path to denuclearization. So actually, I think the administration's been pretty consistent in its demands. Do
you think Secretary of State Pompeo feels that his negotiating skills have been undercut here by the president?
Well, I don't think they have, because I think the United States has been consistent in its goals, and they have been sending messages to the North Koreans. And look, I think, frankly, the North Koreans have misinterpreted what they thought was going to happen after Singapore. I think they thought they could go back to this kind of rope-a-dope, you give something, we get something process, and they've been testing the United States. And I think Pompeo knows this, the president knows this, and so I think having that consistent strategy in place, and then the United States is trying to demonstrate it is sincere about negotiating, and that's the role Pompeo's been playing.
Got it. James Carafano, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
How big does your phone need to be? This is the question that